All right, my friends, welcome to episode 420 of Prof and Dev Play Games. And before we get into anything else, happy episode 420. Here's a Steam code for you. J7 LL, I think it's a 0, could be an O, RLTAK YGAVI. One more time. J7 LL0 or O RLTAK YGAVI. Happy 420. Enjoy that. That's a Devolver Digital game. Anthony, can you guess which one?
I can't at the moment, but I probably should. Is it... Owned by Devolver. Do I actually know all Devolver's games? No, not even close. Now I'm looking back through. What have they put out that would fit into 420?
I hope I'm not wrong. Or else I just get whatever. I gave away a code. Enjoy it, but I believe I saw it as a Devolver Digital game.
How long ago?
2019. There it is. Yep, Devolver Digital. Came out in 2019. It is 420 friendly.
Oh, there it is.
It came out on April 10th. What a miss. What a fucking miss. Come on. You had one job.
I haven't even heard of this game.
Oh, man. So if you put that in, you got a code for Weedcraft Inc., developed by Vile Monarch, it looks like, and published by Devolver Digital. Happy 420, meaning episode 420, friends. My name is Larry. I am a professor, and I play video games. Over there is Anthony. He is a dev, and he makes video games.
Sorry, I just went to the Steam site, and I was like, wait, why do I own this? Oh, wait, of course I own it.
Yes, of course you own it. No, you really just like selling weed. Let's see. On this website, the boastful praise from IGN. Are you a cop? Oh, my gosh. Really, really, really hilarious. So hopefully someone enjoys that game. Grow some weed out there, folks. All right. This week we're talking about more green stuff, which is Xbox. Talking about Xbox. And then we're going to talk about Helldivers 2 at some point because, wow. And boy, is that game a lot of fun. And then we'll recap the DICE Award winners. There's a lot there. Where do you want to start, Anthony?
I think we'll just spend a little bit of time on DICE, so let's just start there real quickly.
Sounds good.
Yep. I think I was listening to someone like a Sunday talk show that I typically watch, gaming Twitch thing, and there was a lot of one of them was like, why don't the DICE Awards, like, they happen, but it doesn't seem like anyone gets invited. It doesn't seem really public. It just kind of happened. And I'm like, most people in the chat were, and myself actually chiming up, devs being like, no, this is devs celebrating devs. And it's not open to the public. And so I see why Nora, like, just the public would be like, why do we care about these awards? I think the industry, if you're in the industry, you care about these awards. If you're out, it doesn't matter to you. But if you're in here, they're kind of important to you. They're actually, I used to say they're kind of the Oscars. They're not. They're the SAG after awards.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's like your peers giving you awards. And with that, I mean, Spider-Man 2 did really well in these overall. It won Best Animation, Character for Miles Morales, Music.
Original music. Yep.
Audio Design, Technical Achievement, Action Game of the Year. Yep. Didn't win any others. Just making sure. I don't think so. But it cleaned up that top section more than it has done on any other awards thing.
Yep.
Which, showing industry-wise, yeah, a lot of praise for it. And then Baldur's Gate won pretty much everything else. Alan Wake 2 got one award.
Alan Wake 2 won for
Art Direction.
Art Direction, yep.
Being nominated for tons of things.
Yeah.
I'm actually really surprised at Outstanding Achievement in Character that it was Spider-Man 2 and not Karlach or Asterion. I'll be honest.
I am too, and I haven't played Spider-Man 2, so I think Miles Morales in Miles Morales was awesome, so maybe they upped the ante, but
yeah,
fucking, how did Asterion or Karlach not win, you know? And
I know.
Saga was really good too, you know?
Yeah.
but it's like you said, devs awarding devs, so it must feel good for Insomniac because they kind of got shut out at the Game Awards.
Yeah.
But winning here probably means a lot more.
It shows a lot of respect that the Insomniac themselves, and they should know that they have a lot of respect from inside the industry for what they're doing and everything. There was one here that was it was pretty nice to see that a independent game went to Cocoon. That was cool. Yeah. And actually their indie game section was really good. Cocoon, Dredge, El Paso Elsewhere, Thirsty Suitors, and Vimba. Like, that is probably the best independent game list from any of the award shows. It doesn't have
Dave the Diver, though. How could it be great?
Oh, I see. Right.
No, I agree with you. Those are really great indie games.
Yeah. Weird one was Online Game of the Year, went to Diablo 4.
So
I read the description of the year of what online game means. It means like always kind of an online game. And so I could see it. I can see that from an industry standpoint, giving it to Diablo 4 of just how seamless the online experience is.
Yeah.
Just technically how it's functioning. I would have considered like Street Fighter 6 maybe in there as well for how good it works online.
Yeah. Right. It really does.
Spoilers going forward. One thing that will probably not win Online Game of the Year right now would be Helldivers 2.
No, and that's more just because they're cracking under the weight of their own success.
I know. Holy cow.
We can just transition into that right now. They've capped 450,000 concurrents, but they had 400,000 concurrents on Steam.
It's on Steam alone, and that doesn't take into account PlayStation, which is probably, honestly, equivalent or more. I don't know. I get why they're just buckling under this. It's a lot. Because weirdly, I'm okay, on my Steam account right now, my friends, I was looking at this. There are 8 of my friends playing Helldivers 2 right now.
Damn. Okay. It
friends,
is that kind of
coworkers,
game, man.
yeah.
It is fun as fuck. I play with Anthony, or you're Anthony. I play with Travis. Yeah, you are Anthony. I play with Travis. And it was a lot more fun when we didn't know what we were doing, and we were just I was fucking his shit up. I was dropping supply shit on his fucking turret. Right at the beginning of when we started playing the first time. Dropped right on his turret, fucking obliterated. He's like, God damn it! And then at the end, he put the turret down right before we were ready to evacuate. And I had something, one of my stratagems. I was like, what is that? And I threw it, and I just threw it right on top of his thing on accident. And he's like, God damn it, are you throwing something on top of my thing again? I said, no, this is not one of those. This is something different. And it absolutely was one of those. And just fucking came down and smashed it again right before we were trying to leave. And he's like, God damn it, man. And it was just fucking hilarious. And now that we're actually better at the game and we're not doing that, it's not as funny, but it's still just the two of us, and it's really fun, man. It is so fucking fun.
Yeah, I think Arrowhead kind of nailed the moment-to-moment in that game.
Absolutely.
I haven't talked to anyone who's this game is blast.
It is. And the best thing about it, other than the moment-to-moment, is so fun. And there's I don't know, contained things to do. You can kind of do more, or you can kind of just do the objective. But it's quick. It's 30 minutes, and then I could be done. I could do one, or we roll through 3 or 4. Everyone I know is fucking playing, except for you, is playing this game right now. And
I will play, but I'll probably be playing on PC, actually.
But it's still crossplay.
It is, yeah. I need to... I've been given full approval to pick it up for work, so I'll be...
Yeah, it's one of those games,
I have to buy it for a bunch of other people at work, too. Designers at work, because we need to be playing it, so...
Yeah, it feels like one of those games. It's got the zeitgeist right now,
Yeah.
And Sony, man, day and date, if they're launching their game, games as a service, live service game, whatever. It's really smart to do it day and date on PC and PS4, 5, whatever.
Multiplayer game, man. The key part on a multiplayer game is having critical mass of players. So those are the ones you want to be multi-platform to begin with, if you're going to do it.
Unfortunately, their servers are not.
I mean, they were probably prepared for Well, clearly they are probably prepared for about a third of the number of players. And
Exactly.
be honest, they probably did huge amounts of like initial market analysis to be like, well, this is what we expect to sell based on like Helldivers and trajectories of like what other kind of more independent games as a service kind of do, multiplayer stuff does. That's come out, and they're like, oh, it'll probably be this. Like, and this is like, if everything goes well, we'll hit this. No one plans for this level of success they're having. And I guess
they're pretty.
Go ahead.
No, I say they're pretty open. Like, whoa, fuck, we didn't think this was gonna happen.
Like, holy crap. The key part being, and I said in our Discord, it clearly is not. Their server backend is not just like built on an AWS where they can just push buttons and spin up more servers. If it's taking them this long to get more servers, and they talk about dealing with their partners, I can only imagine they actually have physical hardware. Like, there's something going on there where it's not just a cloud-based server.
Yeah.
And they have to figure out now how quickly can we install new hardware and get it procured. Which makes me wonder. I'm curious about their back end overall because of that. And who knows? Like, they built Helldivers, and I wouldn't be surprised if they're using a similar, just building on the tech stack they've built before expanding it. So, had you heard? And there's something else special about going on. Have you heard about like where Arrowhead staff can basically play as GMs to games?
Hell yeah. Absolutely. They can jump in when people are playing live and like
start tweaking things. Yeah.
Tell us more about that.
Which is insane to me. Well, I mean, it's a GM. Like, they are effectively being the game master of someone's game but the players don't know that. Like, there's nothing saying that they're doing this. And I'm like, I don't know. I just don't know how many they have and how often they can do this. Although the tech is really cool where they can just be like, I want to go see this. I want to go see a game, and they can just take control of someone's game and be like, all right, our normal AI is just doing this. Okay, let's do this and drop that in and tweak this and on the fly just create an experience for players. Make it really hard, maybe? I don't know.
Do you know if they're just like jumping into like streamers games, like people that they know are playing, or they're just like randomly just jumping in? And
I don't know how they can. Like us? It's hard to say. Like, when I haven't watched streamers too much though, but I'd be curious how they can look up a specific game being played. Unless there's something on screen that they can
right, some sort of seed they can see or something.
See, or if they can search by like character name. Like, okay, I see this character's in a game. I'm watching the stream. They're in a game. Let me go find that game through our server browser. I'm gonna hop in there as a admin spectator, basically,
right,
and start screwing with it. That's crazy to me. Neat, really neat, and I'm sure with how successful they are, there's no way they're hitting a lot of games. It's probably a very small percentage of games get this right now.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's cool. It's a cool way to like shake things up, especially for streamers or for people that have been playing for a while, being like, "Oh, I got this," and it creates this weird myth of being like, "Was that a game where Airhead was messing with it?" You can build the story in your head of that mission felt way harder, or something like went sideways. Maybe they're controlling it. Yeah, they totally are controlling it.
Well, that's part of what I'm liking about the games is just the way that things can go sideways, and maybe it's them or maybe it's just the game, but it feels like, other than the fucking co-op mayhem hilarity, like Travis, like we were playing this last time where we're like, getting much better at this game, and he just fucking crossed right in front of me when I'm shooting enemies, and it's like he just got fucking nuked by me, right? And I just had to throw a stratagem to throw, to recall him, and getting it down right before the enemies jump on me, and just like the moment to moment mayhem. And it's not even just like, oh, we got out of that mission by the skin of our teeth. We got out of this just little scrape with these fucking bugs by the skin of our teeth. And we haven't even got to the rust buckets yet. We're just doing the bugs. It is superb. And I remember playing Helldivers 1 and liking it, but never,
Yeah.
I didn't stick with it because I didn't have people playing with me, and the top-down thing was a little different. This is just chef's kiss, man. It is fucking great. And I'm really, really stoked to be playing it.
Yeah. I and this will transition us back to the other thing. I bet Microsoft will wish they had something like this right now.
Dude. Microsoft. Man, I in some ways I feel bad for them because the rumors were just insane. And then when they came out and did their official Xbox podcast, I walked away thinking, that seems reasonable.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't really say anything super. Well, here's my thing. They didn't say anything crazy. They said 4 games are coming cross-platform, are going to go on to different platforms. They're like, we're not going to name them now, but they're community-driven, small games and community-driven games. I'm like, yeah, we know what they are. Like, you could just say them.
Grounded, Pentiment, and Hi-Fi Rush.
Hi-Fi Rush. Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't know why they didn't just say it. Like,
honestly, it's probably because Nintendo has a deal where it's like, we get to announce it in our direct that was supposed to happen now, you fuckfaces. But it's
pretty much. It'll be next week. Yeah, you're right. Especially for Pentiment and Hi-Fi Rush.
Those are the ones I'm thinking of, yeah.
Yeah, Sea of Thieves and Grounded will go to Sony. And Hi-Fi Rush and Pentiment will probably also be on Sony as well. Hi-Fi Rush is already kind of semi-confirmed based on the data mining. It will be also be on Sony.
Yep.
But I mean, I don't see Sea of Thieves or Grounded running on a Switch. So, but
really, I thought one of those had come into Switch.
I don't know. I really don't know. I just don't think the Switch can do like Sea of Thieves. I don't think it can do the water in Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And Grounded is all Unreal, and I think while Unreal 4 games have come to Switch, it's a lot from personal experience. It's a lot.
When Anthony just starts making noises, we know.
Yeah. Hey, I was involved with Astroneer going onto the Switch. So
I know.
That was an Astroneer is not a high graphic fidelity game. Grounded is way more. So I'm like, probably not, but I think it surprised me. But I mean, so I'm like, okay, fine. The other part of it that I came away is they specifically said they're like, okay, Indiana Jones and Starfield aren't right now. They
aren't part of the 4.
They were very they treaded that line very closely of being like, we're never going to say no, but I'm like, if these do well, you're totally going to bring those games across.
This is a trial balloon, man. This is absolutely going to happen. Unless this bombs, unless no one buys this shit, then but that I don't see that happening, to be honest.
Yeah, and actually I think for specifically, like, I think this will be a big boon for Sea of Thieves again, like the game that just keeps on going. They're just going to get a huge amount of new player base, and it'll be great. So that part, fine, nothing too exciting out of there. The part that got me, and I had sent you this newsletter that I read, business newsletter that comes out like once a week, but they specifically said, you have to break this down, because they're like, this whole podcast was also trying to kind of spin things to be like, hey, Xbox is fine. We're doing fine. We're doing this because we want to, it's the best way we can see forward of making money, and we'll make more money. But the undertones of that are, one, we're not selling that many consoles.
27 million or something.
Yeah. And this is just estimates. There's Take-Two investors deck estimated, Take-Two at least estimates there's 77 million 9th generation consoles, which is Series X, PlayStation 5. And Sony has said that they have sold over 50 million. So you can assume that the other ones are Series X or Series S. And I think there's probably a lot more Series S than you would hope in that.
There are. They've already said that. They said that the S has sold much more than the X.
Oh, it hurts.
It does, man. They really fucking took a dive.
Yeah. Man. So that's not great. From a like, hey, we sell console standpoint. So there's in this weird position where they're trying to spin this of being like, this is great, but really it's, we need to sell more games to make money. How do we do that? We put them other places. But then, through all this, they also talk about we now have 34 million Game Pass subscribers, which is up from 25 million of January 2022. So 2 years ago, they were at 25.
Now, that's really slow growth. Interesting.
Spinning this positive, like, look at, we've increased. It gets worse on that front. So, Stephen Totillo asked a question afterwards to get clarification. The 34 million includes Xbox games with gold that converted to Game Pass Core.
Oh, so not even Game Pass, but like the lowest version of it.
Yes. This 34 million includes that. The last number doesn't include that. Like, the 25 million previously that they posted in 2022 was specifically Game Pass, not Xbox with gold.
Yeah.
So, you have to say a certain number converted from that. And then September of 2023, they said they had just over 30 million Game Pass subscribers. And that was the number previous to this rollover happening with gold to becoming a Game Pass service. So actually, I don't think their growth has been nearly as good. We're seeing the die out of pandemic time frame, COVID going down. Like people, like all streaming services are seeing this. They're seeing it. The reason why they're trying to spin this positively is because, all right, so Phil Spencer, this is where it get crazy. Phil Spencer, during the acquisition of Activision Blizzard, was asked by FTC lawyer James Weingarten, presented him with projected growth metrics revolving around Xbox Game Pass subscribers, showing that by 2029, 2030, this was a year and a half ago when this was going on, the FTC was showing like, hey, Xbox Game Pass is going to grow by 2029, 2030, 100 million subscribers. They're like, okay. Spencer refutes. This is his response to this. Spencer is not a fan of these predictions. In fact, he does not believe that is what the future Xbox business would look like. He then proceeded to say, if this were the outcome, I don't think we'd be in the best business. He believes the company needs to be at that position by fiscal year 2026 or 2027.
Oh no, they're fucked.
They have to be 100 million. He was saying they need to be 100 million by between 2026 and 2027. And there's no way they're hitting that. They're lucky if they get to 50 million by that point. I think it's...
Oh, so he was saying that's not good because we need to be there way earlier.
Yes.
Oh, no way, man. That's not going to happen.
So this was where my lens is tinted of this being a complete meaning to like spin on all of this. To be like, hey, we're doing great. Don't look behind the curtain. Because what does it say if he is saying that they need to be 100 million Game Pass subscribers in effectively 2 to 3 years from now?
Yeah, exactly.
And you're like, when I first read this quote, I thought he was going to say, oh no, like there's no way we 100 million subscribers by 2029, 2030. And he just doubles down earlier on it. And I'm like, whoa, what is Microsoft trying to do here? And I don't know. And I don't, like right now, I don't see them being able to hit that because they're not selling enough consoles to make it happen. Although they did say that they're having another console in the fall, which I assume is just a X Plus or whatever the stupid name they decide to call the thing. That was mentioned in the
you mean
podcast.
The hardware? You mean the hardware?
The hardware.
Yeah.
The most powerful console hardware on the market.
So can I stop you there for a second? Because I'm a little confused if Sarah Bond meant the biggest leap in a mid-generation refresh, or they were talking about the next generation later in the line that would be the biggest jump.
They were saying by this end of this year.
Okay,
I think it's a generation refresh. It's just they're trying to make it sound bigger than it is, but I'm sure it's going to be a generation refresh. But you're still stuck with the stupid Series S. Like,
right, your hand.
I don't care about your super powerful Xbox because I have to make my games parity across all these ones, and you put out a super slimmed down version of it.
I wonder if they're gonna do a handheld. because you
They
can
might.
have S, power. Kind of like the Steam Deck is not like the most powerful thing in the world, but it's fucking awesome.
Yeah. But they said
wonder.
that. What was it? What was her exact line on that? Because I don't think it's a handheld, because they were talking about it being like the most powerful console on the market.
Yeah, so you're right. It wouldn't be unless there's and this is wishful thinking. Unless they have a couple SKUs coming, but that's
They could,
fucking
and they could have a
insane.
handheld coming as well. That doesn't surprise. Like,
They
again,
should. They
and I
can
will still
beat
say they just need to make
PlayStation.
it will use some form of Windows operating system. They just need to make a better operating system for it.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I think they said that they had promised to have a better one this year.
June, I think they said that they were going to have like a
That sounds right.
a bigger, and this whole podcast they'd have like a big kind of showcase for the back half of the year in June. We gotta do something because.
Mhm.
But I think the key part here, the whole takeaway is, and it's cool, Microsoft games are going to start coming other places, but it's a necessity. I said it last week that they're floundering on actually selling consoles. They want their game business to succeed. They need to make money. They just need to sell games then. And they're kind of understanding that. Like,
Yep.
and a mid-generation refresh of hardware is not going to do it enough, I'll be honest. Unless they severely cut prices. They could theoretically bolster a lot if they cut price pretty heavily, but I don't
They
know if
cut
they're
the price.
to do that.
The S right now is cut down to 200, a little more. It's on sale right now at Target. That's still the S, but if you're looking for like a fucking, just value, like that's great.
Yeah.
Really great. But yeah, I don't know. That plus game, and plus it comes with 3 months of Game Pass, so it's just like it's really great value.
Yeah.
But boy,
They're trying to get those Game Pass subscribers, but I'm just like, man, if your internal projections that you're trying to hit are 100 million in 2 to 3 years from now, this is not going how you want it to go. And I feel like those projections were made whenever they were looking at COVID numbers and being like, well, of course it continues this way, like every other tech business in the entire world was like, oh yeah, this will never end.
What
are you talking about?
I don't understand that thinking. Like, this is like once in a generation, once in a century. Like, whatever's happening now is not going to last, whatever the thing is.
This is an anomaly. Like,
yeah, dude.
But no, almost every tech company has been like, oh man, look at how much like sales and our profits jump from 2021 between 2020 to 2022. And now 2023, it's like, wait, the line's not going up anymore. Why is it not going up anymore? I'm like, because people are returning to a different way of life.
Didn't anyone learn from looking at crypto charts?
Yeah. And I think Microsoft, all the big tech companies have been. And so I feel like they're going to have to adjust down what that is.
Yeah.
But shareholders aren't going to want to hear that right now.
Hell,
so I just think Xbox is stuck in a weird spot at the moment.
I think,
unfortunately.
But their response, what they're doing now is like the most reasonable thing. I'm like, oh, that's what I would do. Like, we don't need these on our platform exclusively. We are fucked if we say we're only going to sell games to people who buy our boxes. We are fucked. And I think, honestly, the PlayStation incoming interim president is saying the same thing. Like, we need to look at multi-platform. And he's specifically thinking PC, I assume. But
he is saying they won't. I don't think anytime. They're not going to other consoles because they don't need to. Their console sales are still strong.
But they need
maybe
to
not as strong
PC.
as they want. But yeah. And they've already breached PC for years now, and they're like, yep, they've dabbled, and now they know how successful it can be. And you stated like single player stuff probably a year after launch, and I'm like, that seems reasonable. And the great thing with that cadence on like a single player game is you get double dippers.
Absolutely, especially the price is right,
Yeah.
I was thinking about Spider-Man 2, which I have not purchased, but I do still want to play. I'm like, man, if I wait long enough, it'll just come to PC and I can play it on my Steam Deck. Like,
correct.
That is
and it will show up there.
Oh yeah, the other two Spider-Man games are there, so this one definitely will.
I think the next one probably is going to be Ragnarok.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I think timeline-wise, it fits like
It's over a year now, so
yeah, and they've been waiting like year and a half, 2 years right now, but I feel like they're gonna
tighten that up.
slowly speed that up.
Yep, exactly.
And if it's a multiplayer thing, day and date after
Yes,
the Helldivers thing.
absolutely. Yep.
But I don't know if they've have announced another big multiplayer thing. They like killed Last of Us 1.
No, but they talked about Concord. They talked about Marathon. Marathon, I think, is coming to Xbox as well. Am I crazy in thinking that?
I have no clue. I don't think they've announced where Marathon.
We'll
Check
check
real quickly. I don't think the trailer showed where it was coming. You just assume that it's going to come to PlayStation because, well, Sony owns it.
It's certainly coming to PlayStation. Absolutely. But I just wondered. I just think the idea of having it
PS5 and PC of all that's the only thing that they've said now.
They don't need to bring the Xbox. There's only 27 million, and
most
of them
much.
are S's. Most of them are fucking S's.
Yeah.
Just forget about it. It's like not even worth your time.
Yeah. The key problem with Game Pass, though, Microsoft, is getting that number higher now is gonna be pretty hard to keep pushing on. Because I guarantee you Sony and Nintendo right now are going to be like, we're not letting you go on our platform. Like, you don't get to bring Game Pass here. There's nothing like...
Well, even in that, the podcast, they said that. They're like, Xbox Game Pass will only be on Xbox.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's only on the Xbox because the other main hardware companies are like, well, we're not doing that.
Why would they let them?
I'm sure if Sony was like, we'll do Game Pass on it, you can bring it over, they'd immediately be like, yes, please.
Yeah, right, exactly.
There's no reason they would say, nah, we don't want to make more money. That's all they want to do right now is make more money.
Well, the amount of games on Game Pass that are sold on PlayStation, like, no, we want them to buy these games on PlayStation and get the 30%. What the fuck? Yep. No.
Yeah, and Nintendo was... At the most, you might... No, I get Nintendo would not do a streaming thing with them either. So, it'd have to be a pretty stripped-down Game Pass. Or a cloud-based thing, which... I guess they've done cloud stuff for specific games.
A couple. They were... Like, Control was one of them.
Yep. Kingdom Hearts. Some of the Kingdom Hearts stuff was.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yep.
But it's very, like... It's not like an overarching big library. It's like, no, this one specific game will let the streaming thing happen.
Well, and it hasn't happened in like 2 years. Like, it wasn't really well
I don't think it's done.
No. I don't think it was very well received.
So right now, I think Microsoft is now just trying to figure out, okay, how do we show that this huge investment in games and all the studios they bought and the $69 billion that they just spent on Activision is going to be worth it. And I think Diablo 4, they announced that coming to Game Pass in March. Cool. That's great for numbers of Diablo, but I don't know if that drives new people to get Game Pass. I'm going to be honest.
No, I think people who've wanted to play Diablo 4 have already bought it.
Yeah.
More people will play it, and maybe they'll buy the $65 fucking horse armor or whatever the fuck it was. But
man, that's always a hard thing with Game Pass games. Is that monetization like that because you don't actually really own the game at all.
Right.
It's not like Diablo 4 is going to leave Game Pass. It's Microsoft now.
Yeah, exactly. Once it's in there, it's there forever.
That would be real dumb if Microsoft starts removing their own stuff from Game Pass.
Yeah.
So
no.
I don't believe they're that dumb right now. I mean, in the future with different management, I guarantee you someone's going to be that dumb. But right now, everyone's
especially
like,
get someone who's not a gamer in there, right? It doesn't.
Oh yeah, there's just like, why are we giving this away? Like they've had it for me. Like, just get it out. They should, if they want to keep it, they can buy it.
We'll put it in for 3 months, get them hooked, and be like, all right, you gotta pay for it to keep playing.
Yeah. Someone's going to do that at some point.
Oh,
I guarantee it. Long enough timeline, there's going to be someone that's going to come in and be like, I'm going to make my mark on this division. You're like, I honestly think like their business proposition of buy an Xbox or get Xbox Game Pass on PC, you play any of these games for quote unquote free. You don't want to do that? Fine. Buy them on the other consoles. Like, I don't see any... I'm not a huge console warrior. Yeah, I'm not a console warrior, so I don't care about exclusivity that much. And I'm also privileged enough to have, like, most of the fucking consoles anyways.
But it just makes business sense to say we'll sell them everywhere. If you buy an Xbox, you play it for quote unquote free.
Especially whenever it makes sense whenever you've effectively decided that, like, wow, the hardware sale side of it isn't the main part of our business anymore.
It's not. They're Microsoft. They're not micro hard. You know.
I mean, sure, but I mean for the 360 generation, that was not the case.
That's true.
They were like, no, we are very much a hardware. Xbox games is a hardware division as well, and I think they're just removing that part of it. Nintendo won't go multi-platform because Nintendo sees themselves as they make hardware.
And it's not. I mean, yeah,
that's what they are.
Hardware.
Yeah, that's what they are. They're not. They don't see themselves as we just make games. It's like, no, we make toys that you can play games on, and we make good games for that hardware. Sony as well. Sony is historically, like, they are a hardware company. From their founding to now, they still make hardware, and they will continue to make hardware until it is non-viable.
Well, they're kind of seeing right now. They're seeing the growth of PS5 sales
slower,
kind of hit their peak. You know.
Yeah, and I think that's. Here's my theory on it. Price is just too high.
Oh yeah,
a $500 console is just too high. Unfortunately, I think $400 is the target price you need to go for, and if you want to, the max price you want to go for. If you want to see large install bases, like super large install bases, and if you can get lower, the better.
Didn't they even raise the price?
Which one?
I thought they went
the PS5 Slim price, I believe, was really annoying.
I thought they even raised like so PS5.
PS5's
I'm
500
seeing it for
still.
$500. Yeah.
Yep, still 500. I mean, for a long time you could only get them as bundle-ins, so they're like $550 with a game.
That's right.
But now you can just get them for $500 and a digital one for $450. It's still I would say, like, we're privileged enough where we can buy them, but I think ideally for, like, mass market kind of adoption, you want to be at 400 or less.
Well, this is the price. This is the price I'm talking about. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I bought the digital, so I should fucking know this. But I'm pretty sure the digital was 400, and then the disc was 500. Am I misremembering? Was it 50?
Yeah.
I guess I can look at my Amazon history.
Sure.
Because that's where I thought that the price increase had come. Because right now it's $500 for the disc, which is the same as it was before.
Yeah.
Let's see. Check my orders.
Let's see.
PS4, no. Oh, that's not it. This is really radio.
I know.
Okay.
It was 400.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm looking at it right now. The original raised the price of the digital on the Slim. Became $450.
Yep.
Well,
now I'm looking at it.
Go ahead. No, go ahead,
please. I was going to say now it's like the digital that I have, not even the Slim, is like $500 right now.
Yeah.
That's just the old stock, so it's just like wow.
I think it's just a little bit. It's just too much.
It is.
And then you learn that, like, the install bases for when they get to a certain price just isn't as much. PS3 being as expensive as it was at launch took until it was like a $300 console before it took off. And who knows? I would expect Sony's going to slash pricing here. I bet there's going to be a mid-generation refresh this fall to match Microsoft. It fits, though. It's been, by this fall, will be 4 years of PS5, which is ridiculous to me when I say it. It can't be 4 years. Exactly. But I mean, it's halfway through the life cycle of a console. So
yeah, they're going to hit
for the
6 or 7 years.
7 or 8, typically. There's only been a few. I think this will hit.
No, yeah. In general, yeah. Do you think this one is? It feels like this one's gonna be more on the 7 side, but
maybe closer to the 7. But I don't think it will be less than 7. That's my thought overall. I think we still got a good chunk of years out of it, but it needs to drop like that. The refresh needs to happen, and like the refresh needs to come out at most $500, and everything else just gets bumped down by like $100 or more.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense. I'm curious about the power increase, especially since PlayStation is not. I don't think they're doing a Pro. I could be wrong, I guess, but
they just haven't announced it. But I don't. It doesn't. I would think that they would do a mid-generation refresh at some point here.
Okay, and you don't think the Slim is that?
No,
because it's okay.
There's no change. It's just them making a smaller version. Yeah. It was a lot like the PS3 Slim. PS2 Slim, which I have as well.
But those, because I'm thinking about like PS2, PS3, the mid-generation was just a Slim. There was no power increase.
Nope.
The PS4 was the first one that did like a Pro.
And I still think they're going to hold to that. I think they're just going to put out a Pro at some point here.
So they'll do both this generation, is what you're thinking?
Yeah. I don't know why they did the Slim right now. I think they just were like, we can. I think. I
honestly think it's trying to goose some sales because like the Switch, like at 139 million or whatever, because people have bought multiple. They gave me reason. True. I've had a reason to buy 3 different Switches in this life cycle. I only have one now, but I sold the other ones off. But
I know. I mean, they can sell you an OLED. They can sell lights. Someone was mentioning like a household might have multiple Switches.
Yeah.
Like it's very common. Like I have a good friend, and they have 2. They have an OLED now, so they've bought 3 times because they sold their other one, got an OLED, but they have a light for their kids.
Well, I'm gonna, I bought 3. So I bought the original, I bought the upgraded battery one, and I gave that old one away to a friend who needed it, and then bought the OLED, and then sold my old one to a friend of the pod, Bill. But when they announce the Switch 2 and they are transitioning, I'm going to try to buy a Lite as well, just to have. I think it'll be good for my daughter when she gets a little older.
Sure.
So yeah.
So yeah.
Speaking of, can we transition real fast to something we didn't put in our notes? But the Switch 2 rumors about that kind of pushing to Q1 delayed. Of 2025 makes sense to me.
Yeah. Isn't that when the Switch launched? Roughly?
It is when the Switch launched. Like, we just want to recreate everything. We want to make sure we have a banger lineup. But I guess my question is, do you think Metroid Prime 4 is going to launch this fall?
No.
If there's no Switch 2? No. You think you're going to wait till Switch 2?
Yeah. I'm like, at this point, I'm like, is Metroid Prime 4 ever going to launch? Ever.
Oh, is it real? Yeah.
Is it real? I mean, my pre-order is real. We're at 7 years.
It's funny, I cannot make a pre-order now.
I know, they took that away, but they haven't canceled mine, which is hilarious to me. I'm weirdly at the troll level of like, please never ship so I can just have this pre-order stick around in Amazon forever.
It's your oldest one.
Yep. June 21st, 2017. Coming up on 7 years. That's ridiculous.
It is pretty crazy.
I don't think it's anywhere to be seen right now. Like, because there's not even rumors really that it's solidified into a thing.
Right.
You usually would hear something, even cricket, of like just a little bit of being, it's being worked on. Something's happening, and like I've heard nothing.
Yeah.
Just radio silence, and I'm like, I don't feel like it's gonna get a stealth dropped. I mean, the best you could hope for maybe is coming sometime around GDC. They show it off and they're like, hey, it's going to be out in the fall. But even then, I'm like, they might just hold it until the spring. The spring, if they're going to... Because I feel like that's the main reason to delay a Switch 2, other than if they're having a hard time procuring hardware, is just to have a better game lineup on the launch.
Right.
But I still feel like it would be out before the fiscal year. And then they'll go into the holiday with something for Switch. Man, when did they... This is going to be the hard thing for them, for Nintendo, going into this holiday, and if it is delayed into the spring, how do they convince people to keep buying Switches? Because they will have already have announced Switch 2 by that point.
I'm almost excited that the delay rumors are real because I just want them to like get the number one console. I want them to take down themselves and then play PS2. But there's no the client has been real year after year, and what's compelling people to buy new Switches other than what they can do and what they should do is if they delay, like there's finally a price drop on this thing.
Yeah.
And they drop it down, that's kind of what I'm waiting for with the Lite, for example. Like it gets dropped down to 150 or whatever. And they just
could take the crown. They're at 139 million right now. Yeah. They have to sell 16 million consoles, 17 million more this year. They could do it. A price drop could do it because they have not dropped the price a fucking penny the entire generation. They could do it. Holy crap. The Switch could become the best-selling console.
That is honestly the number one reason why I want them to delay it. And that's like stupid because I own 5 shares of Nintendo. Who fucking cares? But it's just like, this is my favorite console, I think, of all time. Like, it would be so nice for it to be on top. Speaking of my favorite console, I was weighing whether or not I would get Splatoon 3 side order for a Fantasy Critic, and I see that you beat me to the punch.
Did I do it? I think I did.
You got it. I didn't make I was away from my computer and I didn't have my password, so I was like, well, I guess I won't get it.
I saw a preview of it and I was like, I should put that on my list.
The preview looked pretty damn good, man.
I don't think I bid on anything else.
No, it was just that.
Yeah.
You got Pacific Drive coming out this next week. I was thinking about bidding on Balatro, just because I really like the demo, but I don't know if it's going to review well.
Yeah. So. Helldivers 2, though, it was reviewing well. It's doing great.
Yeah, what did you... Yeah, you got 83 on that one, which is pretty good. I got 81 on Banishers, which I was pretty stoked about. I thought it'd be getting like 78 or something on that.
I'll be honest, so did I.
Yeah. I was like, this is a gamble. It's don't nod. It could be good, could be not great. And some people haven't liked it very much, but a lot of people did. Enough people did. That's 81, which was better than my Donkey Kong versus Mario, which, by the way, is awesome. My daughter and I played it this weekend, and she's just tearing through it, man. There's like some really fucking hard challenges, and she's like, I did it, Daddy. I'm like, God damn. Okay.
Honestly, that reminds me of my kid, where I'm like, you played that, and okay, never mind.
That's how I felt too. I was like, I'll help you if you need help. No, I just did it, Daddy. Oh, all right,
cool. I don't really need to help you anymore. Sweet.
Yep.
I'll just be over here being bad at video games now.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yep. She was playing Mario versus Donkey Kong and then some Tears of the Kingdom this weekend.
Nice.
And the best thing about Tears of the Kingdom is she was playing on her file and she's like, I want to play on your file again. And then we're going down to Ganon now. We're gonna beat Ganon, or we're gonna try. And then we got down to the very bottom to like the imprisoning chamber, and she was like, "Oh, Daddy, I know what to do." She had brought her Tears of the Kingdom book, that the big guide, the pre-made guide or whatever.
That sits on my coffee table where my daughter uses it every day when she's playing.
Exactly. So my daughter reads it every night, and then we get to her, and she's like, Daddy, I know what to do here. And she grabs the book, flips to the page where it is, and says, "Here," and she points to exactly where we were. I was like, oh my fucking God, that's exactly what we need. And I was like, oh, that's what we need to build a glider to get across this gap. Great, perfect. It was awesome, man. So we're headed towards Ganon. So we'll see. She's a little gamer, and she drew some really cool. I'll have to text you this picture of Link and Zelda that she drew.
Nice.
Her mom and her were together while I was at my teacher or union conference. But it's she. Man, she's on the Link kick again. Although it's never really gone away. So, Fantasy Critic, man, you're kicking my ass. Your projections are kicking my ass. And
you have more games than me.
You have a lot more games than me coming out between now and fucking May.
Correct. I did put mine earlier at this point, and hoping that there'd be better stuff announced through midway through the year. To fill out the rest. We'll see how this works out. There's a lot of spots to fill.
A lot of time to go.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I'll be kicking, if they push the Switch to 2025, I'll be kicking several of these off my list and trying desperately to find something else.
Yeah.
Anyway.
We've talked about you playing Helldivers. The only thing I've been playing, and you've seen me online, is playing Persona 3 Reload. Constantly. Man. I'm at 76 hours in. I'm in December 23rd in-game clock.
And how does it go? How long does it go to?
January, end of January.
Okay.
So I think I'll finish it this week for sure.
Yeah.
I have tomorrow off, so I'll probably play pretty late tonight.
Nice.
I'm pretty deep into this game. I won't lie, I've cried a couple times for this game.
Nice.
It is heavy. It's a real heavy game once you get to basically the back half of it, and you're just like, oh, this is a lot. It's dealing with some real heavy issues, and for everything that I was like, oh, certain things at the beginning are kind of messy and how it's dealing with things in 2006, when it needs to be hit, was trying to convey, it hits, and it hits hard. And I'm so invested in this one. It's so good.
Several people have talked about how, and people who've loved 5 are like, the story's better here than 5. It's like my favorite one. And I was like, wow.
I think it's what it's dealing with. For myself, right now, I'm like, no, I still think 5 in the end is my favorite, but I like this far more than I liked 4. And I still liked 4, but
yeah,
we'll see how this closes out. But I think that, I think with Persona 3, it's bogged down by the first chunk of the game being a bit slower than like 5. Yeah. 5 just gets going. Like, you didn't get grabbed by 5 as much, but 5 stays pretty high for a long time. Like, it doesn't have this drop off and then you start building back. Like, 5 keeps going and really builds. This one takes a while to get there. But I don't know if last week I said I know the context of why they shoot themselves with guns now.
You did that, yeah.
Which was really cool and actually really has some pretty tied into some deeper lore and connection overall. Did I say why? I had assumptions on why.
You didn't say why, no.
Do you want to know?
Yeah.
Like, so the Persona users, as far as you can tell, there has been a previous group of Persona users, even before Mitsuru and Akihiko, and there was one other guy that was with them. And they've started using this, and they're using the evokers, the guns, to control their personas. There was a group before that where they're studying shadows, where the personas just basically kill their host.
Oh, damn.
Like, you can't control them. They will go out of control. The evoker you are showing a resolve to summon it, to bind it. And, like, the resolve of shooting yourself is showing the persona that you really mean it, and it will roast you.
Jesus.
It's dark, but they state it. It's like, oh, this isn't just, it's provocative, yes, but it's actually like, yes, okay, I get it. And they show kind of the implications of not having that resolve, not having the resolve, or having that the persona respect you, and they talk about that pretty heavily.
Like, the persona just fucking kill you, basically. Huh?
Yeah, and just takes over your body and everything.
Damn.
Like, it becomes you. Like, you lose yourself to the persona/shadow. So that's why they shoot themselves with guns.
Damn.
And yeah, it's a really good game. I'm really, really happy it came out. Pretty excited that I've been able to play it for.
Yeah, you've been like straight up hitting it.
Yeah, every night. I just keep going. There's been no slowdown for me whatsoever on it. Just push. And I'm going to be real sad when I'm done with it and be like, oh, I don't have Persona again for a while. Cool.
Right.
But yeah.
But you're going to move on to other games, though.
I will.
Well, it's, fucking hell. Remake is amazing. And I assume Rebirth is as amazing or better. Like, fuck. You have something great waiting for you.
Yeah, and I actually realized I never played Intergrade. The
Interlude? Oh, you Interlude? Yuffie's thing?
Yeah. And so I actually did the whole thing where I upgraded my version to PS5. And now but the thing is, I don't get Intergrade for free. I need to pay like $15 to get Intergrade. But I'm probably just do that. Yes, I missed the opportunity to get it for free.
Oh, okay. So I got it for free. Yeah,
that's no longer a thing that you can do. As far as I can tell, like the options just don't exist based on the guides I was following. So I think I just have to purchase Intergrade, or the upgrade to the, like, I have to upgrade my copy to Intergrade.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I just need to do that because I think it's like 7 or 8 hours of game, and I'd like to do that before starting Rebirth.
Okay, so you might roll right in from Persona to Yuffie's thing.
Yeah. I think that's my. It depends on when I finish Persona. If I finish it early, then I'll probably do that. There's a weird visual novel that was on sale for $4 on digital, Switch Digital, eShop called like Root Film. It's a. I looked it up because it was just on my deals Discord that I kind of follow, and they're like, crazy deal. It's normally $40. It was $4. It was nice.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, Nintendo Life gave it a 7 out of 10. I was like, sure, why not? I'm kind of interested in some visual novels, but it supposedly has more of a what did Nintendo Life call it? More of a murder mystery kind of thing. It has some gameplay going on, a little bit more like Ace Attorney series type stuff.
Oh, okay. Uh-huh.
But it's very set in a specific prefecture of Japan, which is actually where, when my wife exchanged there, she did a longer stay during her school break in this remote prefecture. And supposedly the Nintendo Life review was like, this seems like a game that could have been funded by the like local tourism board for this prefecture.
Interesting.
But not in a way that like gets in the way. It's just like the setting really matters, that prefecture really matters, and like the murder mystery stuff ties into a lot of like local folklore of that area. So I was just like, sure, $4, I'll give this a try. So I wanna mess with that before Relink. It doesn't, and it has no English dub. So just.
Okay.
It has voice acting, but it's all Japanese, and they don't dub it because it's meant to be set in Japan, and they're just like, yep. So I'm very curious, but I think that's the only other thing I'll probably play before Rebirth hits. I've been watching streams of people replaying Remake, and I'm just like, Remake, oh, it's so good, man.
It is
so good,
incredible, man. It's so fucking good. It's making me like. Obsessed is the wrong word, but like I can't stop thinking about Final Fantasy VII. And I was like, that's not me. I've never given a fuck about Final Fantasy VII, but I really care now. And I just think about it in terms of like Tifa only. Although like I really like all the characters, and like it's real. I think the writing's really good.
Yep.
And the mix of linear gameplay plus the cutscenes is like I think that's what Final Fantasy 16 wanted. And just didn't hit that right balance. This is just perfectly balanced.
It hits the balance really well.
It's so good. But I'm thinking about Tifa versus oh man, I had her name earlier and Triss from Witcher 3.
Sure.
I was in love with Triss. And I was just like that whole story and like being with Triss and all that stuff, and I was like really into that. And now I'm like really into Tifa. I'm like, wow, this is wild, because I know this is a thing for a very long time, but I'm like now getting into it in 2024 when people got into it like in 1997. But she's a fucking great character, man. It's really cool.
And I will be honest, I said it before, I think the remake really adds to all the characterizations of these characters. They just flesh them out so much more. The person I was watching today was at the point where they actually had met Aerith and were going through that whole thing, and I was like, man, they did Aerith so good in this game. Just the personality, like the way they decided to bring that personality out more, and add lines, and you're like, no, I actually understand this character so much more now. And they did that with Tifa and Barrett and all the characters. That's what happens when you take a 10-hour section of a game and expand it to 40.
Exactly.
And have voice acting and have all this extra stuff. Like you can really like let's dig into these characters and make you like really care about them.
Exactly.
Again, a lot of these games like that where I'm like, I just have been keeping my high low on it. Like, it's gonna happen. It's coming out, Rebirth, and I'm like, no, hype is starting to build. I'm starting to feel it, and I'm gonna be real excited when I get this game.
The previews were so positive, man.
Yep. I have the demo. I should play the demo at some point as well.
Yeah, I downloaded it too, but I don't want to play it till
I
get through
understand.
this shit. Yeah. Although
So,
I know it's Sephiroth and whatever else, so.
yeah, it's the opening chunk of the game. So.
Yeah. It's all good. I mean, the
Yeah.
story has been around forever. I kind of know what the larger beats of the story, but,
Sure.
Whatever. All right. Well, that was episode 420 of Prof and Dev Play Games. If you like us, please rate us on your podcast service of choice. Tell your friends. Come back next week. We'll be talking about, I assume it's finally going to be the partner direct for Nintendo. We'll see.
Sure.
But it's got to be.
Yeah, I think it's got to be.
It's finally happening. We'll see you next week.
All right. Later, everyone.